Hey, you remember all that breathless panic about shoplifting? You know, all those stories you've been hearing.
I saw the articles for these coming out where they talked about how it was all false about the shoplifting stuff, and I talked about this in earlier videos explaining that the term they were using for shrink was a broad term and that they were basically just roping in a non-existent percentage into this because they were just having problems, and it's ridiculous, and so it came out. I wanted to cover this earlier, and I hate that I missed it because I feel like I'm so late to the game, but anyway, that's the thing. They lied to everyone. A lot of us already knew it and saw through it, but there was no shoplifting issue. There's not. I've seen numbers quoted now saying as low as 2% industry-wide is what shoplifting's at, which is really not that much. Like you can't even stand on the argument that loss is loss and it hurts them. It doesn't even hurt you as a consumer. If they're raising prices on you, they're raising prices because they want to. They just use shoplifting as a scapegoat. If they can get you to hate your fellow man for something, they're going to get you to do it because they don't want you looking at them. You have to ask yourself now, what other things are they lying to you about? Because the shoplifting never was, and too many people on this app had already said that, and too many people were commenting saying, "Oh, you don't know," and no, we know. And I'll say it again for you. If you didn't get the videos I saw before, I'll say it again for you. The only reason, because a lot of people argued, and they said, we're like, well, why do they have loss prevention departments? Because they get insurance payouts for the items that are stolen, but they have to show effort that they tried to recover the stolen goods. Effort that they tried. That's why they allow loss prevention to stop people in the store, but once people leave the store, they don't go after them because it's a liability they can't handle. That's it. That's the only reason. I guarantee you tomorrow, if the insurance company said they didn't have to try to prevent theft, and they would just get reimbursed for items reported as stolen, they would do that. I'm wondering though, and I didn't hear anybody talk about this. I'm wondering if this wasn't a scam against the people insuring these department retailers, so these retailers could insulate themselves from the lack of spending that happened during Christmas and holidays. Because this seems to me like that's what's happening. Is there proof? No. But I'm guessing that what happened was they knew they were not going to sell as much because people didn't have money. So if they started pushing this narrative of shoplifting early on, promoting videos that showed people doing these organized shoplifting bouts, which, by the way, all those videos you saw that were happening, while they were all accurate and did happen, they weren't losing that much money off of them. Because this wasn't happening at 10, 20 stores a day. You know, those were spread out over months, and it didn't have an impact. The biggest impact you as a regular consumer would have if somebody shoplifted is the item you'd want to buy would be unavailable. That's it. That is the only thing that would happen. I used to have a mindset that if I saw a shoplifter, I would stop them because I used to hate shoplifting. Now, I don't care. I don't care anymore because it doesn't affect me. It doesn't hurt me. I know the price increases are not a result of the shoplifters. If you want to say it is and you want to argue that, that's great. Show me proof. Show me proof. Because the only proof that you can provide is the words being fed to you by the retailers, which has already been, by them self-admitted, is false. So are you going to propagate their lies, or are you finally getting on board with the fact that they're not losing that much? I just am beyond the ability to want to reason with people on this anymore, because it's just, you guys, the people defending the anti-shoplifter stance and stuff just didn't know all the information. And you think you do and you don't. And even when the companies come out and say, no, we lied. Oh, God, no, we lied. We flat out lied to you. You're still just licking it up and defending these companies like somehow they're the victims. And they're not. They're really not. I forget the exact numbers. I want to say that in a video I did, I'd have to look back. It was about Walmart's shrink specifically. The numbers were revealed, and I think it was found that the total amount of shrink that Walmart saw in a year was $2.5 million. That's shrink. That's not just theft. That's theft, lost product, damaged product. That covered all the way up into stuff damaged in transit to the Walmart stores. $2.5 million. Of that, I think the shoplifting accounted for $250,000 because I think they said it was something like 1% or somewhere in there. So kind of think about that for a minute, how little that is. That means that all the other sources of loss in shrink were more than shoplifting. Shoplifting was the one they had no control over, and the rest they had better control over. Like maybe a small percentage of the trucking incidents were out of their control, but for the most part, it was other stuff they had control over. That means that Walmart is saying that a loss that small is unacceptable, that it will cripple their business, which is ridiculous. So in light of this news, if you guys already heard this or you haven't, what are your thoughts now? How do you feel about these companies lying to you about theft that wasn't taking place? How do you feel about that now? Do you still feel the same, and why? And what reasoning do you have? Have you changed your mind? If you're somebody that's changed your mind, did this do it or was it something else? Please keep the feedback civil. I don't want to have to be deleting a bunch of comments, but please be civil in there and feel free to express your thoughts.